But talk about the next season.
What do you want to know?
Everything.
What do you got?
The question is, what can I tell you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the end of last season, we saw you with like the folder with Sue Dearborn on it. So what Dearborn.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that mystery? Is she the one that's missing? Or are you trying to find her? Is she the one that's going to him for help? Or
So we're going to be playing that out throughout season 6, which I'm really, really excited about because that's such a huge part of Ralph Dibny and that whole thing, Ralph and Sue. And we are going to meet her this season. We are going to see her. I'm not going to tell you exactly when, but he is going to be pursuing, kind of following her journey, and then they will meet, and we'll take it from there. And I'm really, really excited about that. It's something I've been wanting to do, obviously, for a long time. Probably the question I got more than anything was, when is Sue coming? And I'm super happy that we didn't do it any earlier than now. I think it would have been too early. That's one of the things we spoke about when I started was like, let's get this guy ready for that in the long run, you know? And from where he was at season 4 to where he is now, he's grown and evolved so much, and I love playing him, and I love doing that evolution and all those character arcs to bring him to where he is. And now I think he's ready. He's ready for love, baby.
Now that Sherlock kind of went away, yes, we have our baby giraffe as the only detective in town. How things are
Or
gonna
adult
change.
giraffe, depending on, sometimes adult giraffe,
depending on the angle, maybe.
Yeah.
How is that going to change Ralph's behavior in any way?
Well, I think that's going to be, you know, there's going to be so many aspects of that are really going to be what he brings to the team and what he pursues in the season. You know, finally getting to that point where he is the detective that he is in the comics, and only going to progress throughout the season in that and become better and better at that. I mean, I've always said from day one, you know, that's kind of really his superpower. I know the stretchy thing and everything like that, but I think the deductive reasoning and the detective stuff, in the comics anyway, like that's really what his superpower is. I mean, he's supposed to be second only like Batman, maybe, you know? He's supposed to be one of the most brilliant detective minds, and I like that we've taken a long time to cook that, and we're almost there. We're there, and we're going to see a lot of that. We've already started with some of that. We're going to see a lot of that this year.
Now that Cisco has no powers anymore, how is it gonna be the relationship between Ralph and Cisco, because he has no powers? And
I think it's only going to deepen further, you know, because I think, in some ways, I think they'll see eye to eye, or I think they'll find a lot of common ground there because, you know, it was only a couple years ago that Ralph didn't have any powers and was a very different person, and now for Cisco to go back to life, making that choice, and still being a part of the team and everything like that, I think they'll find some common ground there. That was one of the things I really, really enjoyed last year, was developing that Ralph and Cisco kind of friendship and bond and a little bit of a brotherhood there. I thought that was really great stuff, so I'm excited to explore that a little more with him now that he does not have his powers, you know? What else? What else?
Is there a moment coming up in the next season that you're really excited for the fans to see?
I mean, you know, the first thing that comes to mind, which I honestly don't know that much about, but my mind is imagining so many different scenarios, is Crisis. I mean, that's like, all roads lead to Crisis, and we've known that since last December or whatever it was. And they've been talking about that, I think, for a couple of years, too, of doing that. What I do know about Crisis is that, everybody says this, and it's not usually a thing, but this is true in this case, it's going to change the face of the way all of the Arrowverse shows are afterwards. It's really going to be kind of a... not everything is going to be different after that. It's going to be, people say, oh, it's going to be big, huge, biggest. It is going to be the biggest one by far that has ever been done, and it's going to change the face of the way that this whole world works and all these different worlds work in an amazing way. I'm really excited for that.
Your character's evolved a lot. Is there anything in that evolution that's kind of surprised you?
Well, no, the funny thing about that is the way that he is now is kind of the way that I originally saw him way back then. And I talked to them about that when I was hired and when we talked about the role. So I was like, well, I feel like it's like this. And they were like, yeah, but let's start him here so we can play that out. So for me, you know, part of the way through season 5 and at the end of season 5, not beginning of season 6, it feels like now I've gotten to where like I always saw him being. But I had a lot of fun playing, you know, the jackass and playing that kind of like overgrown boy aspect of him, because those are the things we needed to do to get him ready to buy that he's this great detective, to buy that he could maybe in time have this romance with Sue and be ready for that, you know? So I've had a lot of fun doing that, and I love looking back on, you know, gosh, I remember in episode, 6 of season 4, like the stuff that I was doing, and there's still elements of that. But, baby giraffe, adult giraffe, he's grown up a little bit. I like it.
Guys, last question. So, one of the things that I liked about last season and getting to see more of Ralph and his kind of softer side with some of the other members of the team, like with Iris and with Cisco. Are there any kind of duos or team ups that you see going into this new season?
Oh gosh, what can I talk about that we can see? We are going to see. Okay, I haven't checked if I can talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. It's not a huge thing, but it's something that I've always liked. I always like Ralph and Joe West in the same room, because Joe West was on the force when Ralph was a cop before all that stuff happened years and years ago. So he's known Ralph kind of longer than anybody. And, he's the patriarch. He's Papa Bear, the whole thing, Papa Joe. And so I love the idea of having those two characters in the room. And I think that Joe West has always had an understanding and an empathy for Ralph, even from the first episode, that maybe not all of the characters had originally anyway. So there's going to be some of those scenes. And I love working with Jesse. I love Jesse L. Martin. He's a friend of mine, great guy. Welcomed me with open arms when I started, and I'm just excited to do scenes with him. And we're going to see some more Ralph and Iris stuff, and some more Ralph and Cecile stuff, which I really, really liked. I loved doing the Ralph and Cecile stuff last year. That was super fun, and I love doing the Ralph and Iris stuff. It's great to combine these characters with some of these different characters. Super fun.
Thank you.